Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Anyway, hello everybody, this is the Dead Whatever here. My brother's on the PC right now. So you're gonna hear a lot of clicking probably. And also pretty much I got interrupted like 4 times while making this. So I just decided just to start all over. Anyway, let me explain his abilities. I'm not gonna get into detail with this because I've gotten into detail with this like 4 times. He's super strong. I like it, and none of these are like superhero like abilities, like spitting out acid or anything like that. It's just he's super strong to the point where if he throws an overhand, your head will pretty much explode. He's super fast because I'm pretty sure Isaac's like jogging the whole time in Dead Space. And he's very smart. He's smarter than Isaac himself, and he can make pretty much everything he can make faster than him. Like, let's say the bench would have took him 2 months instead of 1 month, but Deku did it in 1 month, but Isaac would do it in 2 months. Anyway, let's get into it. He's gonna get a new ability, which is pretty sure an item, but I'm gonna microscope it more so that it's a bit more better. I'm gonna microscope it, and it's gonna be a lot more powerful. Because he got that big brain, you know? He got that big brain, so he know how to make stuff better, you know? Okay, so, where to begin? Anyway, let's say there's a week, he passed, last time we left this off, he passed both the exams. He passed the sport course and the 1A, and he's going to be going to the, I need to think fast every time I talk fast, so I don't care. Anyway, he's going to be going to the summer training camp. Hold up real quick. And let's say there's a week beforehand, and for that week he makes a thing that will give him telekinesis, which is actually in Dead Space. Pretty sure it's a thing, not like he just has it. So he makes it. It's a lot more stronger. He can throw a baseball like 500 meters if he just fires it regularly. If he does like a swinging motion with it, he'll throw it 1,000 meters. And that's all I'm going to get into this. And it took him like a day and a week beforehand. And he goes to first his 1A class. Some people will give him glare. Some people are just acting normal, being normal, because remember what I said last time. Some people still think he's a villain. I think it was last time that I said last time. Maybe it was the one before, but you know. And let's say they do another Quirk application test, just to make sure Deku's keeping pace because he doesn't have a Quirk. And Azawa throws him the ball, Deku the ball, and says, "Throw this as hard as you can." And Deku's like, "Okay." And he uses his telekinesis and does the swinging motion and throws it 1,000 meters. And Azawa's looking at this like in shock. And Azawa says, "How did you get that Quirk?" And Deku's like, "It's not a Quirk. It's a machine I put into my body." And he's like, "What?" "I put a machine into my body and it allows me to have telekinesis." And as I was like, you are a lot more smarter than you look, kid. And Deku's like, "I know." Anyway, let's skip that. Pretty much, he got pretty good grades. Like, he breaks them. He does the grip test, all that stuff. I don't really care. Jump test. Did I say he could jump high? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said he could jump high. Like, he can jump high. He can jump pretty high. Since technically, you know, since Isaac was probably on different planets, and each planet probably had different gravity forces. So, like, gravity pulls and all that stuff. So, yeah. Anyway, he goes to this poor course, and he sits down at his desk, and Meihatsumi says, "Have you made anything recently?" And he said, "Yeah, actually, I made a thing, and I injected it into my body that allows you to have telekinesis." And she says, "What? So you just injected a quirk into your body?" It's like, "No, it's like a miniature bot within my body, and it allows me to have telekinesis." And she's like, "Prove it." Okay, and he looks around, he sees just let's say a box of supplies in it, like gears and all that stuff. He picks it up with his telekinesis, brings it over here, puts it down on the desk, and says, "There, here's your proof." And she's like amazed, like, "Whoa, how did you build that?" She's like, "I'm just super smart. I'm just super smart. I'm just no. It's just I did." And she's like, "Come on, you gotta tell me how you built it at least." He's like, "I just did. You know, all the stuff I was pretty much buying when we went on those supply runs together a couple times." She's like, "Yeah. Well, pretty much just that. It's pretty much just that stuff. Plus a bit more, but yeah. I mean, I can make more, but I don't see why I had to do it. Then it would just be like, hey, you have Quirk, plus telekinesis."
Thanks, partner.
Which I guess you could just say. Alright, you probably heard that. Yeah, my brother will talk sometimes, but not all the time. Anyway, moving on. So, it's the next day, they go to the training camp. And instead of getting the regular, Quirk thing that they all have, Izuku gets these two things, kind of like one of them's kind of like a Quirk thing, where he works his telekinesis to carry more heavier weights and throw them farther, you know, and and throw them, and also physical strength. So that's pretty much all he does at the training camp. Then same rule, pretty much, and he talks to Koda, and when he talked to Koda, because I forgot about that part, he sounds a lot more trustworthy to Koda because he's smart. He's big brains. He knows when kids have. So he sees this kid and he thinks he has some sort of problem with him. So he speaks to him more calmly. That's like how Ken and Zuko did. And yeah. And Koda kind of trusts him, and he says all that same stuff about being a hero and how heroes are meant to do good, and when your parents died, they were trying to help people. Like, let's say, and he gives him an example, like, let's say your parents died trying to save you. Would you think they died and just left you? Or would you think that they tried to save you and didn't want you to die? He gets through Koda pretty well. Koda stops hating heroes pretty much. And they kind of hang out and kind of like friends, you know? And, yeah, and then the night when the villains come around, let's say that Deku's not at the camp, he's with Koda at the, the cliff, the mountain, whatever you want to call it. And he's sitting there, and they're both talking, and then all of a sudden, Deku hears a noise. Oh, yes. And this one's gonna be fun. And I'm gonna have kind of some fun with this. Kinda. Just because, just because. Anyway, Muscular comes out. Deku doesn't waste a single blink. He doesn't waste anything. Like, he grabs him with his telekinesis, kind of lifts him up. It's kind of hard, though, because he's a bit more heavier. It's not really hard for him, because he hasn't really done anything with his body, with his muscular part, like growing more muscle. So, he's, like, slamming him around, and Muscular starts growing more muscles, and he's getting heavier and heavier, and Deku's having harder and harder times carrying him around and slamming him into walls and grounds, you know. And to the point where he lets go of his telekinesis. He's like breathing heavily on the floor, and Muscular's like, kid, you really thought you really thought you could take me down like that? I'm a lot more smarter than I think than I look like. And Deku said, I noticed. He gets back up and gets into a fighting stance because you know him. He's wearing his armor too. Did I not mention that? He's wearing his armor. He's wearing the thing, and he's not wearing the armors yet, but he activates his armor. And Muscular's like, ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this? Some sort of armor to protect you? That won't be good enough. And Deku's like, yeah, it will. You'll see. And instantaneously, like, and Muscular's like, yeah, right. And instantaneously, Deku just runs at him full speeds and pretty much uppercuts this guy. He wasn't at full Muscular, but he calmed it down a bit because he thought, oh, the kid can't use his quirk, won't be capable of using his quirk anymore because he'll be too exhausted. He instantaneously uppercuts him. He goes up like 5 feet and hits the floor, and guess what? Deku starts stomping him out, and that's where I'm gonna leave it off because, yeah, I really don't want to be bothered anymore. So that's it. See you guys later.